guys and gals, so you still want that 40-year-old trawler? So you can see me up here. I've got a little work to do up here. But today I really want to talk about, and we'll get into that in the next video, what went wrong up here, why it's cracked and stuff like that, and then what I'm going to do to fix it. Anyway, today I really want to get back into the buying the boat. So I took you around. I showed you 2 or 4 different options, you know, the basic trawlers on these 40-year-old vintage trawlers. And today I want to talk about what would be your next step if you were trying to buy one of these. So the next step is for you to find one. And the best way to find one is for you to look for it. And you know, I don't care, you got to turn up everything. You got to go into the black web, I call it, whether it's Facebook ads, every broker, anything that you can do to find one of these trawlers. Typically, I would tell you that a trawler listed with a broker is in a little bit better shape than maybe one that's for sale by owner, but I haven't found that to be true at all. I've gotten some serious arguments with a couple of brokers when I've been consulting for other people, and we've looked at a couple of these trawlers and we're like, you got to be kidding me, right? So it doesn't really matter. That really doesn't matter. So you just got to be careful. You got to know what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with and the kind of boat that it is. Okay, so you have found your boat, or a boat that you want to look at. What's the first thing you do? Well, if it's got a broker, you call it. If it's got an owner, you call it. If you've got maybe even if you're having somebody consult for you, call them. You go through it, have them look at it, give you the pros and cons. That's kind of what I do. And we'll get into the pricing and stuff like that in a second. But I want to talk to you and tell you a story of what happened to me on a boat that me and Bev bought. And this was a 34-foot Catalina. It was a 1990. The year was 2002 is when we sold it. We bought it in about 1998. And I took it over, and I'm going to save you all the details here. But anyway, we took it over. We lived in Vegas, and it was on Lake Mead. I paid all the money to have it shipped to California over to Marina Del Rey to the Catalina dealership. And long story short is the buyer was already set up, everything was set up, all the deal was going good. I'm back in Alabama where I'm at right now, and the dealership, Charlie calls me and says, "Hey Paul, we got a problem." And I said, "What's that problem?" I go, you didn't have this boat checked out. You didn't do all your homework when you bought this boat." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, this boat is documented, and there's actually another owner on it. And I thought I was in good shape because I had a bank loan on this boat. So I never even occurred to me, never even thought about anything like this, didn't know anything about this stuff. And anyway, long story short is I couldn't sell the boat. I didn't even technically own the boat. The bank that owned the paper on the boat didn't even own the boat. So that was really, really scary. And it took probably about a month. This has been 25 years ago. And it took probably, if I remember correctly, it took about 2 months to get all that straightened out. And that was through the documentation company. So when I bought Southern Estate here, Pete, we hired an online title company to handle all the paperwork on the boat. And so you can do that, and you can save money and not get a broker or hire an agent. Now, another trick you can do with a broker, and this is just something I learned from buying Southern Estate. If you do all the work, like you find the boat, you know this is your boat and stuff like that, and you want them to handle all your paperwork and the transaction, you can usually negotiate a 5% commission on and you pay them. The buyer or the seller doesn't pay them, you pay them. And the same thing if you get a consultant, that's usually typically, it depends how much the boat is, but it's typically about 5% of the gross sale of the price of the boat. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that you got to be careful out there. You got to kind of know what you're doing, especially on these bigger boats. Now, if it's just a little 20-foot runabout, that's a whole different world. You usually have a state title, and you get your state title or your registration, your Alabama, and you're all good. The problem is when you get a boat like this one, like Southern Estate here, she's been documented, and you got to know all the documented owners, and you've got to do basically a title search on it and make sure that it's free and clear. So I just wanted you guys to know that, be crystal clear. One thing that I really like about the brokerage firm that I work for, which is Captain's Choice, is one of the reasons I went to work for them, is we do all of our paperwork in-house. A lot of these brokers will have an outside company do that, so it's an additional expense to you no matter what. Even if you go to Captain's Choice and buy a boat, it's still, you still pay for that service. And I think we're about $800 to about $900. They're all about the same. You really don't get around it, except like on Southern Estate here, it was I believe it was $600 because we just went with an online company, but we had done the process so many times that we kind of knew what we were doing. So, and that's how we dealt it with Southern Estate here. Anyway, if you got any questions, please feel free to reach out and just ask. Leave your comments down below. I want to hear if anybody else had that similar situation that happened to me and Bev. Let us know in the comments down below. So, especially for these new time buyers that are just looking right now. Another thing, I should have started the video out with this, but I told you guys I was in the market too, and I actually bought. I told the guy, I bought another boat, and what it was it was a dinghy. It was just a small dinghy, but it was a center console. It was, the deal was almost too good to be true. But I offered to pay him full cash. I said, "How much you want for it?" He says, $3,000. I said, "I'll take it." We went over there. We did it. We did this all in the middle of a storm. And anyway, it turns out he called me yesterday with some excuse saying I can't sell it to you, blah, 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 blah. Well, it was all about the paperwork because I wanted to register it in Alabama, and I need something to go down to the DMV and register it. And anyway, I think that's where the problem was. He made up some other excuse, but we made it crystal clear to him when me and James went and looked at it that I wanted to register it. I wanted to get my AL numbers. I was going to go do that immediately, and it was complicated because I didn't want to give him any money until that was checked out, or I had the legitimate bill of sale or a title or something, and I didn't have any of that. And he was supposed to get that paperwork and then get back to me, and I was supposed to pay him like today or tomorrow. But anyway, he called me yesterday and said, "No bueno, he can't." He said somebody else. He made another excuse, but that's what it was about. He doesn't have the paperwork for the boat. So anyway, that ends that, and that's what this whole video is about. You just got to be careful, know what you're dealing with, and be careful. Anyway, peace out. Remember, live life with no regret. I do. You got any questions? Again, comments down below. This year, I really want to concentrate on that, getting everybody involved in the community and everything else we do. Anyway, watch for the video of me doing some work on the fiberglass here. I'm going to change up what I'm going to do here. I'm going to do it a little bit differently this time than I did last time, and hopefully it all works out. Anyway, peace out. No regret. Thank you. Bye.